Welcome back, all my 40K fanatics out there. Here's a video for all of my mech fans. After our last game against the Iron Hands, I asked a couple people in the comments section what they thought might be a hard counter for the list. Is it didn't work out too bad, aside from the destroyers just absolutely failing. So who better to go to but my buddy Meta Brian, bringing yet another meta list, the Custodes today. How are you feeling with some of the changes going into Arc of Omens with these guys?
So I'm actually really excited to be running Custodes. I had started looking into them in 9th edition once all the new rules and everything, like once their codex dropped. And I was about to take them to an RTT, and then GW just slammed that nerf hammer down on them.
Oh, man.
And so I didn't even bother to take them until it was like a month or so ago after they backtracked on most of the nerfs. Now they're in a much more, I would say, fair spot with some of the stratagems and like points costs that they switched around. So
notice a Custodes player is saying the fair spot. Yes. I'm just kidding. No.
But also the Arcs of Omen detachment, removing the need to take 3 units of troops,
even
from
one on
a
a patrol.
battalion,
yeah.
Right, or even that. You'll see with my list, it's fits really nicely into this detachment. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I mean, I do got to agree. I think that they hit Custodes really hard with the Nerf ball bat on that. It just didn't seem. I get where their stratagems were really strong, and they said, "Oh, okay, we're going to do these once per game. Okay, that's fine." But then all of a sudden they said, "Oh, here, and we're going to cut all the command points down in half," and that came right after that Nerf happened. So we didn't get a chance to see was that Nerf necessary, and it almost seems like the nerf wasn't necessary because a lot of those stratagems that we're talking about, such as the shuts off rerolls, which you can't use on the bikes now, but you can still use it multiple times, that's 2 command points.
Yeah.
And that's kind of tough. Like, as the course of the game, that 2 command points is really, really, I know there's a lot of times I would look and go, I don't want to spend the command points because I may need to interrupt. I may need to auto pass some morale. So 2 command points is kind of tough for a lot of those armies.
Yeah, I think it might depend on the squad size for that. But the other change that they
it does. It has like a squad restriction for some of that stuff.
I don't think it's 2 for everything. Okay. But they reinstated objective secured onto core infantry. Mm-hmm. They had initially it was just on all infantry, including characters, which was a little powerful. But then they just made it troops units. But now it's so that it's core infantry. So core infantry are objective secured, and they can be the recipients of all the strong stratagems. Mm-hmm. So you'll notice a theme in my list. It's a lot of core infantry.
Right. Awesome. Well, before we get over the game, got to hit you with this. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do. Turn on the bell for notifications, get notified on more videos and faction-focused videos, such as this one. I try and put at least 1 battle report a week. And as well, like, share, subscribe. Leave comments down below. The comments have filtered to make other videos for it. This one, with Custodes, I specifically asked for Custodes to come over and play against AdMech because I want to test this list out, see if it has legs, and if I can't run into some of the heavier, harder hitting units and armies in the meta, then it's not good to take these guys. Custodes have been doing very well in competitive play, and if I take this list and start doing well and start running to the top, I'm going to probably run into a Custodes army, especially in our meta and the DOG, Death or Glory scene. There is a lot of Custodes players out there. As well, some of our keen-eyed viewers might notice that I got a brand new hat today. I purchased a hat with the Tim's Nation logo on it. I do not have a merchandise support or anyone doing that stuff. I'm not really sure how to set that up. If there's anyone out there that's a fan of the channel that might be able to make some recommendations in the comments section, I'd like to start getting some t-shirts, maybe other hats and stuff. I actually have dice on the way. Stay tuned for that. Dice that are larger, able to be seen much easier with the Tim's Nation logo on them. So bear with me just a little while longer with some of my silly Necron dice. I'm getting there. And I think that basically covered everything. Sorry, this is a little bit of a longer intro. Getting a lot of new stuff is going to be happening. A lot of cool stuff that's going to be coming to the channel here. Hopefully getting rid of this big gray wall soon. But aside from all that, let's get over to what you're really here for, the armies and what we're doing. Brian, why don't you start us off with what you're bringing for Custodes today?
Okay, so we've got 2,000 points of Adeptus Custodes in an Arcs of Omen detachment. I am running the Emperor's Chosen as my shield host, which is probably the one you'll see most often competitively. It offers me an army-wide 4-up Feel No Pain against mortal wounds, which gives me a nice protection against psychic heavy armies, as well as every unit getting a floating reroll to hit or wound each time they shoot or fight, which combined with all of the other Custodes rerolls I get is quite powerful. The compulsory slot I'm taking for my detachment is elites, which I've filled up and then some. So we'll start with the HQs in my warlord in Trajan Valoris. I'm not going to go over everything he does because he has 1,000 rules, but basically he is a combination of a beat stick, a buff character, and a utility character. He does all kinds of different things that help out the army, doling out rerolls, refunding me command points, and just being a great unit overall. Next, I have a shield captain on Dawn Eagle Jetbike. I have spent 3 CP on this guy. He is loaded. He also has the Captain Commander trait, Tip of the Spear, which lets him reroll hits and wounds of 1 on the charge. But basically, he's a 9 wound character. He's got a 5-up Feel No Pain. He has also the Emperor's Chosen specific Warlord trait that lets him get extra attacks for each model that he kills, up to 4 attacks per phase. And his relic lets me do 2 redeploys before the start of the game. My last HQ is a shield captain in Alaris Terminator armor. He's got an axe for a weapon, and I gave him, I spent to give him a relic, the Praetorian Plate. Gives him a toughness of 6, and it's the relic that lets him teleport in the heroic intervention step, basically to intervene and save one of my units in melee. Next, I have 1 unit of troops, 5 Custodian Guard, all with sword and shield. I'm still taking one of these units because they're extremely durable with that. Basically, it's a base 1-up save. They can either rock up the middle of the field or just sit on objective and try to hold it all game. Also, having them all be swords and shields allows them to use a stratagem in melee that gives them -1 to be hit. So they're quite durable. I have 1 unit of fast attack, and that is 5 of the Virtus Praetors, the jet bikes. They are all armed with salvo launchers and Misericordia, so they're my ranged anti-tank. And then I have 6 elites plus an elite character. So the elite character is the Vexillus Praetor, the banner guy. He's got an axe as a weapon, and he has I believe it's the Vexilla Magnifica. He gives out a 6-inch aura of any of my units within that gain the benefits of dense cover. So -1 to be hit in the shooting phase. And then the 6 elite slots I have filled up. So I've got 1 unit of 5 Custodian Wardens. They are rocking axes as their weapons. They're pretty much a straight upgrade now on Custodian Guard because they have access to those axes. They have an extra attack, and they have a 6-up Feel No Pain, as well as having the Bodyguard rule. So even if I have one of those guys still alive, he will block all of my characters. I have a unit of 4 Alaris Custodian, which are the Terminators. They have axes and the grenade launchers, of course. Just one of my favorite units all around. They shoot well, they fight well, and they look great. And then my last 4 slots are occupied by single Alaris Terminators because you can take them in units of 1. So what that's going to allow me to do is either deep strike or screen the board with 1 model units. It's a good way of keeping control of the board or trying to get in places that people might not be expecting. And they're still strong models individually, so can take on small units by themselves.
All right, so moving over to the best of the bots. I'm playing my ad mech, and a couple little changes from what I did before, but the things that stay the same, we are still Lucius Detachment, which means any 1 damage weapons are going to give me +1 to my save, as well as I'm increasing my range by 3 inches. Starting off with the first changes that I have to the list is I dropped both of my destroyer units, and I'm taking 1 5-man squad of breachers. These guys have a 2-up save and actually a little bit of close combat prowess. Guns are still relatively good. They are going to be able to fill the role of hitting vehicles, but not be as swingy as the plasma was in the previous list. They are still a 5-man, and they all have hydraulic claws with an assortment of different guns for the Terrosian cannon as well as their arc rifle. And moving down to the second change that I made to the list is I put a 20-man squad of Rangers. They have the Omni Specs and the Data Tether, as well as the Skitarii leader dude, I can't remember his name, has a arc maul because it's free. So why not? Don't think it's going to be that great, but hey, at least the guy that's modeled with an arc maul can use his arc maul. And the last of my changes coming over from removing the destroyers is my 5-man squad of infiltrators. These guys all have the taser goads as well as their little fletchet blasters that are 5 shots apiece. Their general role is the fact that they can deploy outside of my deployment zone to give me kind of a threat on an objective early on in the game. So the returning units, we have a 5-man squad of Dragoons. Again, never leave home without them. One of my favorite units in this codex, and they've been through a lot with me, including getting attacked and eaten by a Great Dane and then put back together. Hopefully that won't be the case today with some of these jet bikes. I have 5 Castellan robots, 3 with fists and a heavy phosphorus blaster, and 2 with the Castellan phosphor blaster as well as a heavy phosphor blaster. 4 robots with all with guns, so they have the 2-hand Castellan phosphorus blaster as well as the shoulder-mounted heavy phosphorus blaster. Still in the heavy supports, we have 3 of the Onager Dune Crawlers with the Icarus arrays. Those are basically 10 shots, varying in damage. 1 shot has a d6 damage. Then you have 4 shots autocannon, then 5 shots, which at strength 6, -2, and 1 damage. Down to my HQs, I have a Skitarii Marshal, who has a relic that will allow him to not only give reroll ones to wound, but now he'll also give reroll ones to hit as well to a Skitarii core unit. A Data Smith, who is an elite, but he has my solar flare, and that allows me to teleport a unit, core unit specifically, and he'll be able to give the robot's core if he's within 3 inches. And lastly, we have the Dominus, who has a lot of stuff. He's got my Warlord trait out of Lucius, so he can target a core unit and give them transhuman, and he can target a unit and give them ignore AP 1 and 2 out of his Logi Holy Order. And that also allows him to reduce a battle tactic stratagem by 1 CP. And that is it for my AdMech list.
So today we're playing mission 11 in the Arcs of Omen Grand Tournament packet, Recover the Relics. This is a 6 objective mission, but only has a primary of hold 1, hold 2, and hold more. The special rule for this mission is called Recover Relics. You only generate your battle forged CP if you hold objectives in no man's land or in your opponent's deployment zone. You get 1 for holding 1 in no man's land, and I believe you get another for holding your opponent's objective. The tertiary objective, or the bonus primary, is simply kill points. So for each unit that you kill per battle round, it gives you 1 victory point up to a maximum of 3 victory points per battle round.
All right. So what secondaries are you going to play today?
So I'm taking Raise the Banners High, 6 objective mission with 3 pretty close to the deployment zone, so that's good for me. Mm-hmm. I will take Behind Enemy Lines, try to push into his territory with all my combat units. And we'll take...
Bring It Down?
Bring It Down, yes.
I got
the
you.
obvious one for his list.
Yeah, I got a lot of my guys only give 1 point, but there's a lot of them. There's a lot of sickle dudes there. And for me, I do have a lot of vehicles. So first one I'm going to be taking is Eradication of Flesh. It's already going to be tough to take down Custodes units, but I'm hoping that some of his small units, I can at least pick one of those off with a vehicle unit and possibly score points there. I'm still going to run Hidden Archaeovault, and this is kind of a tough one, and I was debating between Engage on all fronts. But with the fact that I have a lot of infantry and vehicles, that would be easy for him to wall off and prevent me from being able to push forward for Engage. I felt like at least Hidden Archaeovault, even if I can get 10 on it by getting 2 scores on it late in the game, should help. Kind of one of those things that it's kind of one of those win more secondaries I'm looking at. It's like if I'm in a position where I'm able to win the game, then this is where I'm going to capitalize my points late into it. If I'm already losing the game, then I'm probably not getting Hidden Archaeovaults, but the chances are I'm probably losing the game anyways. And the last one, great minds think alike. I'm also going to do banners. Like you said, 6 objectives. I can put the banners out there and just walk away and, keep my fingers crossed and see what happens. So, as always, table's pretty even. So it's just a matter of who's going to deploy first. Odd or even, my friend?
Even.
And that's an even. So I guess I will be deploying first today,
Yes,
right?
sir.
All right, let's get some armies on the table. So we are deployed. So, Brian, why don't you talk us through your Custodes deployment?
Okay, well, it's pretty simple, really. 2 of those individual Alaris Terminators I have up in Deep Strike. They can come down anywhere to react to where I need them. But everything else, the units that are actually on these buildings are actually on the first floor. So everything's in a building. So hopefully the idea is to not get shot if I don't get first, or don't go first. I have my shield guard here with Trajan and the banner guy, single Terminator here, all the bikes and the bike captain back here. And then over in this building, we've got the wardens, the 4 Terminators, the Terminator shield captain, and then another singleton over there.
Gotta say, I love the purple on those cloaks. Looks really good.
Thank you.
So over into AdMech, I deployed the infiltrators up forward. They're at 9 inches away from both those objective markers. So if I do go first, I can snag whichever one he decided to select for my hidden Archeo Vault. The hidden Archeo Vault is going to be objective marker number 5. If I don't go first, then, well, he can rush out, charge him, kill him, and then I can counter back and maybe trade a unit with him. Otherwise, it's basically a cluster here until I can get a chance to move. Doom crawlers around the table to kind of block out for those Alaris Custodes to not be able to drop in and mess with my plans in the backfield, as the rest of the units are also just getting ready to run up the field after we decide if we go first or second. Data Smith is ready to teleport whoever he needs to and also help lock down robots. Dominus and Marshall are in position to give some nice little boosts as we go. A lot of mine is kind of condensed in because I need to move. I need that first turn. And I did position the Rangers to be able to take their 3-inch move and pop out and steal objective marker number 4 so I can generate a command point on the first turn, something that's really nice with their 3-inch move. Well, all that's left, we've said it a couple of times, who is going to go first? What do you want in this one? You want to go first or you want to go second?
I think I might actually want to go second, play a little more reactively. Might cost me some CP since I can't get onto one of those objectives early, but it saves me a turn of shooting.
I definitely would love to go first. That's a 2. That's a 3. Well, I'm not getting what I want, so Custodes will go first.
Here we go.
I'm going to do a little pregame move, which is going to be to just scoot my Rangers up so that I can gain that CP, and we'll be back after the Custodes movement. All right, so as I said, the Rangers did move up just to be able to grab that objective marker 4, so I'm able to score my get the command points to start off. And Brian opted to redeploy 2 of his units, which was the bikes and his shield captain, to move them out into a more aggressive position. So now we're actually going to go over to the Custodian movement phase. Do you got any command phase effects on this army?
I do not.
You do not. All right, so it is going to be going right into movement. So finishing up the Custodian movement phase, Brian decided to move up and drop some banners down. And even with the pregame move, the bikes are not going to rush right into my front lines.
I thought about it, and then I decided it's still probably a better idea to not get shot as much as possible.
No, and then being able to allow me to put up all my buffs and countercharge with Dragoons, robots, and everything else. It's a very strong, fast-moving unit that would get removed real quickly early. Could get removed real quickly early on. And I don't necessarily think that might be what you want to do with those guys. So 3 banners are down.
Yep.
And we're going to be moving over into the shooting phase. So,
well, actually, we'll back up a minute because I do need to talk about my my martial katas.
Oh,
so my Custodes battle stances.
Custodes.
Yes,
I like it.
So the way it works is I pick 3 of them before the game, and I reveal one and at the beginning of the turn, and then I pick one of the stances to do. So the first, or my primary one that I'm using, is Salvis, and I'm taking stance 1 out of that. So all my models, or all my units this round, add 4 inches to the range of ranged weapons they are equipped with. So will mostly be important for the bikes.
As far out to be able to hit some stuff.
Yeah, the bikes and the shield guard will get a good buff out of that.
All right, so now we'll be doing our Custodes shooting phase. So Trajan and the shield guard
Yes.
were able to take out the infiltrators. I was expecting they were going to die, but I was hoping if I went first, I could get an easy 5 on my hidden Archeo Vault. Rangers walled the shield captain from his bolter, big scary bolter. And now we're going to be doing the Dragoons right over here. Are going to get these Melta missiles coming into them, which we'll see how this works out. We're all already a -1 to hit inherently. How many shots you get?
I'll get 5.
5.
And one thing I do want to specify, because I don't think I mentioned it before, it's the Vexilla was the one doing the action here, because I don't mind that his aura goes off on my turn. That's why these guys are still able to shoot, because he did the action.
Right. All right, so you got 5 multi-Melsas and multi-Melsas. Man, we cannot talk today. All right, so you need 4s or 3s?
I'll be hitting on 3s.
All right.
I'll be re-rolling 1s because Trajan's right there.
Who needs a re-roll?
And T6, I have strength 8, so I'll be wounding on 3s as well. Also re-rolling 1s. And I do have my Emperor's Chosen re-roll to do the 2. So
you got both of them on a re-roll.
So we'll convert 5 at -4.
All right, -4, so 5 up involved. I'm going to stop only 1. So you are D6 damage?
D3 plus 3.
All right, so first one kills a bot. Next one does not kill because it's 2, so 5. So then the next one kills takes out.
And then the last one will do 4 damage.
4 damage. Okay, so I lose 2 robots and 1 goes to 2.
Yep.
So Melta missiles were able to put 2 Dragoons on their butt, and 1 got kind of beat up. So we're looking at 3 guys left in the squad, and that's going to finish off the Custodes turn. Any scoring from you?
Well, I've got 3 banners up, which don't score yet, but nothing for behind enemy lines.
2
bring it down. I'll actually get 2, and I'll get 1 kill point for eliminating that unit of infiltrators.
Alrighty. Well, we'll come back with the add mech movement phase. During the command phase, I'm going to repair the Dragoon. That's why I left him there for D3, so get him a little bit of help there. And then I'm going to kick out some command phase buffs, which I think it's going to be a lot of them are going to be going over onto the Rangers to allow them to ignore some of this damage coming in from the Custodes. Lining up the ad mech to put some fire downfield. We're going to see if we can't do some damage to these bikes. The Rangers are going to have both my transhuman as well as my ignore AP 1 and 2 and moved up, and they're going to try and put some shots downfield. As my Castellan robots moved up to draw lanes, put more shots onto these bikes. I'm not expecting to clear them. I'm hoping maybe I can pick 1 or 2 of them up, at least start doing some work on them because they are very tough. These Castellan robots, I spent the command point for Binaric Override to get them to a ballistic skill 3 up, so they're not going to be able to change their protocol for the rest of the game. My Data Smith dropped the banner over here, and that was why, because I couldn't do both actions to shift them, and I figured they're probably just going to be there the whole game shooting. And we're going to try and make that Custode, that little Loris Custode Terminator, make him realize that putting that banner up for the Imperium was a bad decision. So we're going to move over into shooting and see how much, if any, of some of these Custode units I can pick up. The robots completed their job and were able to pop off that Aloris Custode Terminator, giving me 4 points on Eradication of Flesh. And I was talking about it before, Brian. I was going to do this dice roll on camera until we started adding up the numbers. So I'm going to move over to these Rangers, and the Rangers are going to be putting their shots at the bikes, try and do some damage over there. I will spend 2 command points for a Galvanic Volley, so now they are rapid-fire weapons. 16 of them are within rapid-fire range of the bikes, which means I will be putting down 72 shots into the bikes, and we will come back and talk about the results on this and how this goes. It's going to be Strength 4, -1, 1 damage. Since they're rapid-fire, it doesn't matter that I moved, as I will still be getting it'd be still hitting on 3s. And my Marshal's close enough, so I'll be re-rolling 1s to hit and to wound. So the Vexillas came in crushed there, given a -1 to hit, which helped. I was only able to get 1 bike down to 1 wound. I mean, they're tough. So expecting my Galvanic rifles to like rip the squad off the table, I wasn't getting there, but at least there's only 1 wound left on a guy, so I'll be able to take out somebody. But now we have still a couple more shots downfield with the Dune Crawlers, as well as my Castellan robots over there. So see if they can't pick a couple of guys up. All right, so finishing off the turn, bad angle on this one. So move over here so you can see. I only was able to remove one of the bikes, put the other one at 1 wound left. I mean, those bikes are tough, man. That's.
I rolled pretty hot, not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, you did.
I'm pretty happy with that.
Every time a 2 damage or 3 damage weapon hit that was looking for damage, I hit with a lot of the Doomcrawler missiles too. I think both of these guys actually hit and wound, and then they were saved off. So we'll wait for the weighted dice to come back in my favor. And that's all. That's all I can say there. I mean, it was tough. It was tough beats, but I did kill a unit with a vehicle unit with my robots, and that was more than the vehicle units he removed, which was 0. So I got 4 points there. 2 banners are down. And I did not get my hidden Archaeovault, but I did kill 1 unit for the second mission primary. So we will go on to Brian's turn and see what the Custodians can do at the top of 2. Finishing up the Custodian movement phase. Looks like the bikes are getting aggressive now, moving up the field. Warden's a little bit of a run over here to hold on to this objective. It's kind of got this nice little firing lane over here, well protected. Leaving objective marker 3 open. Not really not taking it back.
No, I think for now I'm happy the banner's up there. I've got it within striking range with those Terminators in case you try to make a move on it.
Mm-hmm.
I can still hold 2 and get 8 primary points. I think I'm good at that for now.
Anything you put out there, the robots, I mean, you're not the robots with their range. And
yeah, they'll just get annihilated.
Yeah, it's just free units for nothing, like you said. And now over here, the bikes, like I said, are getting aggressive and coming in here now. It looks like those Melta missiles are going to be shooting at the robots.
Oh, yes, they are.
And you have a guy in there with 1 wound left.
I do.
And I have a nice little ability that when I roll a 6 on my invulnerable save, you take a mortal wound.
And I have a trait that lets me ignore mortal wounds on a 4+.
Are you ready to lose that bike on a mortal wound bouncing back?
I'd love to see it.
It's going to happen. I know it. That's what I'm calling it. Mr. Bike is going to get a shot from one of his buddies that's going to bounce off a robot and bounce back and hit him right in his face.
And importantly, we had one of those Terminators in Deep Strike drop down back here.
Yes.
Being sneaky.
Yes, and that will get you some behind enemy line points.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, we'll get over to the shooting phase. So I stopped the camera a little early here. Brian said, let's do it. He wants to see those 4 missiles going right into the robots. And yeah, that's going to be no minuses to hit.
Cool.
No special buffs for me. I mean, my cataclysms are giving me cover, but I don't think it's going to matter much. I did not shift. Well, it might. I didn't shift them, so they're still in the Aegis. So they're still looking at a 2-up save. What's your AP?
AP4.
AP4, so AP3 because of cover. AP2, sorry, I'm just doing the math silly. AP2 because of the Aegis, and they're normally a 3-up save. So no, they're going to be on a 5-up invul the other way. So
okay.
Go ahead. Tell me let's see what you got.
We're in trained in buff range still, so it's 2s rerolling 1s to hit. They're all going to hit.
Yep.
And it's Strength 8 versus T7, so 3s to wound. I can reroll 1s, plus I have my numbers chosen. So we'll reroll this. Still a 1, so we got 3 on your invul.
All right.
Save.
1 at a time for you, sir. Saves 1. Takes that 1. No, it didn't bounce 1 back. Oh, sad face. Okay, so first one.
There's 7 wounds each.
Yes.
So I can't kill it with 1. I'll just hold it to you.
Yeah.
Probably ought to kill 1.
So
yeah.
3. Yep. So you'll just get the 1.
Yep.
All right. So all of that shooting went into these guys. A lot of bolters and everything. And man, this is why Lucius got nerfed before. They walled it. Only 5 Rangers went down from all the bolter fires coming in from the Custodian Guard, the Shield Captain, Trajan, the Vexilla. I think that was everybody, right?
Yeah, just everything over here.
Whew, yeah, that was nice. But it's the 1 turn. I did pop the Doctrina to get +1 save, and it's just too much. So we're going to go into the charge. And what are we going to charge? Who, what, where, when, and how?
All right, let's start with the bikes. They're just going to charge both these units here because they're right in front. So the Dragoons and the Rangers.
Is there going to be any other charges, or is that probably going to just be it?
Shield Captain's going to go into the Rangers.
All right. So wrapping up the Custodian turn with their fight phase, the bikes came crashing through and were able to take out 2 of the remaining Dragoons. So I got 1 guy left with 2 wounds on hit, 2 wounds remaining. And then the Rangers were still able to wall nicely. They lost 9 for the turn. So I'll spend the 1 command point on that special AdMech strat since I'm all wholly within 6 of the objective to auto pass morale. However, in return, that last bike, who I was hoping would die to a bounce back from my robots, got killed by the Arc Maul on a Ranger. Go Power Ranger. Brian, how did you score your turnout?
So I killed a robot in shooting and 2 of the Dragoons in melee, so that's 3 on Bring It Down. I scored 3 for my banners at the beginning of the round, and the lone Terminator back there gets me 3 on Behind Enemy Lines because I have nothing else that's wholly within the deployment zone. I didn't actually kill any units because I just whittled some down, so no kill points yet.
But we still have my turn, which I'm going to be going into the movement phase here and try and figure out where I'm going to put these command phase buffs because I don't think it's the Ranger's turn anymore. Finishing off my movement phase and my command phase, the Dragoon advanced on a reroll, sadly. He needed a 2 and I rolled a 1. Of course, it's always how it works. But he did advance up onto that objective to take it away and be able to give me the take down his banner, which was the key there. Over here, the Doomcrawler moved up to now hold the objective, so I still control it, and put some shots downfield at those wardens. The breachers move back just so I can cover the backfield so no more Alura's Custodes drop in behind me. And basically the rest of my army is going to bring all of the fire onto these bikes. He did give me, there's a 1 bike sitting out in front, so I'm going to be able to bring my Castellan robots that lock down onto them, and then the Castellan robots over here are going to shoot, and then they're going to charge, and then the Doomcrawlers back here will shoot at that 1 Custodian Terminator. Rangers fell back, and the Marshal was never in combat, so he ran around back behind him, dropped the banner, and now it's time to see if we can't do some damage. So, Castellan robots, do me good. All right, so finishing off the AdMech shooting, sorry I didn't have any dice rolls for my turn. There's some awkward stuff that would kind of get difficult to read and do where I'm shooting robots individually at a time, but the robots that are locked down, the 4-man, were able to burn away a lot of the bikes and get them reduced down to just 1 bike remaining, but he's got full wounds. And I was able to put some more fire from my other robots onto the shield captain, however, only did 1 wound. This Mr. Luris Custodi that dropped here in the backfield ate the Doomcrawler shot. He just really was not having it with his saves. He landed, he must have tripped, fall. It's not his day. So we're going to move over to the charge phase. The robots are going to try and clean up over here and get me out of trouble and see what we can make happen. So I completed the charge with an 11, and I was able to get both the shield captain and the last of the bikes in combat. I spent 1 command point to do the crushing stride strat and was able to put 3 mortal wounds with 3 of the robots onto the last of the remaining bikes, and then pile in to grab both the guys in better position. So we are going to move right over into them. The robots are going to be the first, or the robots are going to be the only ones I'm going to swing with. So I'm going to put 1 of the robots with fists onto the last remaining bike, and we're going to do his first. And then the rest of the robots are going to go onto the shield captain. I don't think I'm going to kill him, but hopefully I can make him start thinking about decisions in life. So looking at going at the shield cap, the regular bike, hitting on 2s, my Dominus is close enough for re-rolling 1s. Okay, all hit. Strength 10, looking for 3s. Love when I can say that against Custodes. Ooh, only 2, and that's going to be a 4-up. Yeah, it's what we're going to sit at, so 2 wounds.
Into the regular bike.
In the regular bike. Is he 4-up invuln? Yep. I knew that was going to happen. Okay. Well, he's pretty beaten up, though. So now we'll go into the shield captain. So I got 10 attacks into him. Okay, 10 hits. And looking for 3s. Oh, man, thank you. 10 wounds on the shield captain. AP everything. What's your invuln?
4 up.
Yeah, right. 4 ups. There's a couple in there. So each one is going to be 3 damage. So he's taken 12.
Well, so let's think about this.
All right, I'll give you a second to think about it. All right, so you are going to try and CP reroll 1 of the failed saves.
Yes. So first, do I get the CP back on a 5-up? No.
You do not. Okay.
Now here's the reroll on the save.
He
Makes
does. So now
so
you
it's
take 9 damage.
9 damage. So I need to make 2 5-up feel no pains to live.
Yep. And then I just have the one robot with the guns, but he's no AP, so he's probably not. He's probably not going to be that. So 9.
Looking for 5-up. 8 of fear.
Yes, 4.
So he'll take 5 damage from that.
Drops to 3. And then the last robot. Oof, he still manages to miss one. And then, 2 wounds onto him. Regular 2-ups. Yes.
1 damage?
Yeah, we just 1 damage. And he takes it. So the robots were not able to finish off either one of the squads. However, they did drop the shield captain all the way down to 2 wounds left.
2 on
Two
the captain,
wounds left.
2 on the regular.
All right. So they're both at a point where I'm feeling a little bit safer with being able to get them off the field because those are some mean guys, even though we got these Custodes guard coming up behind it over here. And we're kind of running out of some of our close combat resources. I still have the breachers back here, but this is knocking out some of the speed. So it's going to be an interesting how that's going to trade out in the end. But that is going to finish off my turn. So at the end of the turn, I will score another 4 for Eradication of Flesh because I was able to finish off 1 unit, being the Alaris Custode, and I did not lose any vehicle units. Lost a lot of vehicles, but not a unit. And I will get 2 for banners for the 2 banners I had up earlier in the turn. And what was my last one? It was Archaeovault, which I have not been able to get yet. I did kill 1 unit for the additional bonus primary, and that's going to be it. And we're going to move on to the Custode turn. Finishing up the Custode movement phase, got a lot of tricky little shenanigans going on back here. So I'm going to let Brian talk about this because there's no way I could explain this properly.
So I spent 1 CP, which Trajan so kindly refunded me on a stratagem in the command phase called Esteemed Amalgam. It's the special strat that I have for Emperor's Chosen. Lets me put a unit into any other shield host fighting style. So what I did was I played it on my shield captain here, and I put him into Solar Watch, which gives me the ability to fall back and charge. So he's coming out of this combat. He's going to try to take out this character that has the Solar Flare ability that would let him teleport a unit, because I don't want that to happen. So that's what he's doing. In the movement phase, I spent a CP to do the Teleport Homer strat, which allows the Vexilla to bring a Teleport Homer unit, which is my unit of 4 Custodes that were just chilling in that building, the 4 Alaris Terminators. They're going to come over here and join the party and get some shots downfield. This guy moved up. The shield captain moved up. The other Terminator that was in Deep Strike came down here into this building. Warden shifted over. They're going to try to put some shots into that last Dragoon. And this bike over here just fell back because between him and the shield captain, that should give me full 4 points on behind enemy lines.
All right. So shooting, we're going to be... These Rangers are going to get some punishment again?
Yep.
All right. So we're going to be shooting at some Rangers here shortly. Dragoon -1 to hit was a little too much to bear, and he was able to survive through. Also, I did kind of roll hot on the dice as I needed 4-ups, and I popped all 3 of them real nicely. So the Dragoon lives to hold that objective and fight another day. And then over here, a lot of action happened. The Rangers went down to only 3 guys left, which, funny as it might have been, we took a minute to talk. He's like, I think the Rangers are going to be gone. I'm like, no, you're going to leave me with 3. And there they are. But I won't be able to auto-pass any morale or anything because I'm going to be out of command points after this turn. And so I'll probably be losing at least 1 and maybe lose them all after attrition. So we're going to be going over to the charge phase. That was really it for the shooting. There was just those guys got peppered hard and hit hard. And we're going to be doing some charges here and see what we can't make happen. So finishing up, the robots are gone, sadly. And the Rangers failed their morale, but only lost 1 guy with the combat attrition. Mr. Data Smith tried to make him fight last and finish him off, put a wound through, and then re-rolling shenanigans and everything keeps him alive, which not really shenanigans, it was the basic rule.
Basic rules.
But on my positive, we still got this Dragoon alive over here, which means some work. I lost 1 vehicle unit, which is going to matter for my Eradication of Flesh going in my turn. But let's finish out the Custodes. What did you get this turn?
So I did get 4 points for bring it or behind enemy lines because I have both these bike units in his deployment zone. I got another 3 on bring it down for killing the 3 robots.
Yes.
And I got my 2 banner points at the beginning of the turn, and I killed 2 units for the mission specific kill points, which were the data smith and the robots.
All right. So now we're going to be moving on to the AdMech turn, seeing how I can answer back to all this carnage. Finishing up my movement phase, Doomcrawler moved in the building. He's going to try and finish off that bike because he's really the only guy who can hit him. Marshall came back. He's got a pistol. He can try. And then the Doomcrawler over here is moving back. We got to get this shield captain out here. He's got to go this turn. My robots still have line of sight onto the shield guard over there, so they're going to hopefully be able to pick those guys up. And my breachers came out of the building, and they're going to be able to finish off that shield captain if all else fails. Hopefully. I'm going to say they're going to hopefully do it. Dragoon came running back and got healed for a single wound. We're going to actually try and rescue him from this whole thing. And Doomcrawler moved up to shoot down at the wardens without getting a negative penalty. So basically, this is where the whole game is playing for me this turn. We'll see how things roll out in my shooting phase. So I was able to successfully clear out the backfield from the 2 dirty bikes in the back. Both the Doomcrawlers actually were the ones that did the jobs in and were able to actually hit. And poor little shield captain died to one of the most vicious weapons in my army, a Cognis Stubber. That was the happy moment that I needed out of this.
After he tanked all those heavy weapons with his rerolls, he died to the Stubber.
Yes. So this Doomcrawler over here started to hit home and was able to take out 2 of the wardens downfield. And that helps. But other than that, it was more just paint by numbers. We were able to get one of the Custodes guards, the shield guard, down because the save, the AP, the transhuman, everything was just a little too much to do damage onto them. So those 4 guys are still, 4 out of the 5 are still there. And we'll finish off the AdMech turn. I was able to get my Eradication of Flesh and still keeping that going because I killed 2 units with vehicle units to the 1 vehicle unit that I lost. And I got my 2 points for banners, for the banners I still have up. And I believe that's going to be the end of my turn. And we're actually going to give the Custodes a 12 on primary, and we'll come back after their movement. All right, so not much for the movement phase here. Just a little shuffle here.
Yep, just kind of trying to consolidate behind obscuring terrain here and stay on those 2 objectives.
Doomcrawler scared you.
Yeah, well, there's not much I can do back to it. So there's no point in staying in sight of it. And these guys just pushed forward, and they're going to try to get into this room here.
And beat up them. And I think that now that those Rangers don't have transhuman or ignore AP 1 or 2, I would safely say this is the end of their day.
So their demise.
All right, where are we shooting at? We're going to get over to shooting now?
Yep.
All right. Unexpectedly, the Rangers got obliterated by Aluris Custodes, and the Doomcrawler got dropped down to 3 wounds, could not make some saves, and just got beat up by some 2 damage weapons. So now we're going to charge. Where are we charging?
We're going to just charge Trajan into the Doomcrawler there.
All right. So finishing off the Custodes turn with a big swing. Custodes guard did finish off the Marshal and the Doomcrawler, which is going to be a 2 point for bring it down, a 4 point for behind enemy lines, and 3 on the mission primary.
And since I did behind enemy lines with a troop unit, I believe that gives me a CP.
Ooh, so that was a huge swing for that turn. Let's see if I can't answer back and if I can't make something happen with this in my turn. Getting a little wild with it. Going to try and make a play. I got the Dragoon I'm about to heal again to see if he can't do something. He's the last one left. I got 2 command points for this turn. Doomcrawler's moving behind and he's able to draw a line into Trajan, so he's going to put everything that he has onto Trajan. And we're going to try to get these. My breachers are going to. This is going to be their time to see if they can do it, if they can shine, because they have all the buffs from Dominus, and they're going to have to get in there on the Custodes guard to make something happen. Over here, this Doomcrawler moved into a little bit of terrain, still holding the objective. He's going to draw some shots downfield and keep harassing those wardens that are they're his best friends now. They're friends. They're friends for life. Dunecrawler is getting close. He was able to put Trajan down to 2 wounds, beating him up with his guns. And we're going to have to charge and try and get some damage here. So everything is going to be going in there, fists a blazing, and we're going to spend a command point to make the Custodian guards fight last in a wild, wild attempt to see if the Dunecrawler can stomp on Trajan and take him out to try and get me my eradication of flesh. And that's going to be probably it for the turn. So fingers crossed, people. All right, I think that's going to be calling the game. I'm going to push this through and see, but I don't think there's going to be any magic to happen. I was able to get Trajan down. Was able to beat up the shield guard with the breachers. Dragoon was not able to finish off the shield captain, leaving him with 2 wounds left. And we're going to go into Custodian turn. So
the shield captain, I don't know if we saw, but he used his Praetorian plate to teleport from that building into combat here, which is why he's there all of a sudden.
Yes, during the time he could heroic, he was able to, measure that out and do a 58-inch heroic intervention because that's standard. And but I think that we're counting the end of this here. So we're going to be going into the Custodian turn 4, turn 5. Turn 5. Yep. So it's gonna be a quicker turn, I'm sure, but we'll see if there's anything I can do at all here. All right. So not a whole lot happening over here. Guys are just kind of hanging out, doing their own thing because we're getting to the last turn here. The only action that's going on is right over here, where the guard got out of combat, so that they're not getting. Don't give me easy points on that. And the shield captain's going to try and run up on this Dunecrawler. So he's going to try and shoot him first?
Yep.
All right, let's see it. He's got, what, 2 shots?
He's got 2 shots from the axe and D3 from the grenade launcher, so we'll roll that first. 1 shot. Getting on a 2, so that'll hit. Strength 5, nothing.
Nope.
Yeah, I'll let that go.
Time to charge?
No, axe. 2 hits. T7, so still 5s. And I will use my free reroll here. Okay, so I did get 1 at -1, 2 damage.
I'll just roll it since we're over here. -1, you said?
Yep.
It's 2 damage. All right, so it'll do 2 to him, so he goes to 9.
All right.
Now you're going to charge me?
Yep.
All right, so...
Well,
go ahead.
No, because you could Overwatch.
Yes, I can.
And you know what? No, he's just going to sit there, and he'll die on your turn.
All right, so ending your turn,
because they'll give me the 4 for behind enemy lines, which I needed 4 still.
All right, fair. So end of your turn, you got your 4 for behind enemy lines.
Yep.
And the 2 banners at the beginning of the turn, and I think that's it.
Yep.
All right, no units killed, so we'll see if I can do anything crazy over here. All right, so here's my more or less final play for actual points over here. So I move the breachers up to drop a banner, just so I can get some endgame points. And then this Dunecrawler is going to try and finish off the shield captain, just so that I can at least get 4 for eradication of flesh. But over here, just to keep everything happy over here, we're going to Mr. Dunecrawler has been chasing around these wardens all game.
Don't you do it.
He's going to run over here and try and finish the day. So he is going to be the one we're going to shoot with first, because he's my bestest friend for Everest. We're going to see what happens with him. So missile, yeah, you're fresh.
So we're going to transhuman them. Gets only 1 CP.
All right.
See if training gives it back.
Is that your only CP?
I'm back up to 2.
I guess it doesn't matter. Okay, so missile hits. Looking for 3 wounds. AP 3. Give me it.
The 4.
That's not giving it. Okay. Autocannon. All hit.
Of course.
Yeah, 2 wounds. AP 1.
3s.
Oh, nope. Not going to take him out now. Not going to take him out. Finish it off. The missiles. And 2 wounds from the missiles. AP 2. Nothing. Man, not even single. Here we go. Now this is what's going to kill somebody.
Stubborn.
All hit.
1.
1 wound. Now that ain't going to kill somebody.
There's a 1. Nope, there's a 6.
Darn.
And we'll do banners.
So
So
although this Dunecrawler did fail to finish off his warden foes of the day, over here, Mr. Dunecrawler took him down to 1 wound, and then charged in and finished a shield captain off in the charge step with his little stompy feet. Yes, hitting on fives, did it all in. So this will finish the turn. So I will get another 3 points on the banners at the end of the game. You'll get 2. I will get the 12 on primary, which we maxed out primary, so none of the other kills matter. I will get the 4 on eradication of flesh. So we'll tally this up, but I'm pretty sure, I can safely say I'm pretty sure this is a Custodes victory. We'll just see how bad it actually is. All right, final score. Custodes 93, mech 81. Really good game. Really, really good game. Hidden Archeo Vault was definitely the tough one, and I'm not exactly sure what other secondary I could possibly have pulled. I don't see myself being, I would never have been able to pull the engage on all fronts. That would have done nothing. I needed, what was it? He said 93, 81, so I was 9, 10, so 12 points behind. So I needed something that I was going to be able to score 12 on just to push the tie onto this. Don't really feel like that was going to be the case. I think I did better on the eradication of flesh than I was expecting, especially going into Custodes with their defenses. But it was the Hidden Archeo Vault. Honestly, might have been the terrain. I mean, sorry, not terrain. The mission for the objectives, being that it was one directly in front of you to get to you, meant that I didn't have to force you to push out at all. So that kind of hurt. How did you feel you liked your general army performance?
Honestly, I felt like it did pretty well. Some, like the wardens, just had to sit back and hold an objective, but there was one unit that had to do that. Other than that, I felt like I got decent value out of most of the things. The bikes survived probably longer than they should have, which is value in and of itself. Helped me score those behind enemy lines points after they stopped doing damage, and then that was enough time to bring in like the shield guard and the shield captain that teleported in at the end. Yeah, it felt like pretty solid overall, especially with the layout of this mission with the objectives. They tend to be fairly out in the open, and I was very concerned about going against a shooty mech army, so I was trying to hide as much as possible.
Yeah,
and I think it worked.
I was I was mildly discouraged on my general damage output going into Custodes, but I think a lot of that comes down to seeing what it was now. And this is one of the nice things about recording the battle reports. And when I go back to edit this, I'm going to have the opportunity to look over a lot of this stuff and see where there was critical points of that. And I look forward also to getting some answers back, because I think there's a lot of data for where I was declaring shots. Although I didn't have some of my dice rolls, I did declare where I was shooting stuff. So I'm interested to see what I should have possibly changed up. Maybe there were some things I did, target priorities that were slightly off.
The golden dice were pretty hot today too. I'm not gonna lie.
There was a lot. There was some very, very, I would say, critical feel no pains, especially the shield captain on the bike.
Yep.
He survived with 6s on feel no pains. That would have been -4 points on, or -2 points on behind enemy lines, and then also not losing my data smith and being able to teleport later in the game. So that was pretty big that he was able to survive through that and make it out of combat there. So that was definitely crucial. The Custodian guard were just tough to handle. I hit them with a full round of robot shooting, but they were able to shield that. They were able to wall that really well. So it's going to be a good opportunity to look back through it. But again, after playing against the Iron Hands, the way I felt after it, I never felt overwhelmed. And those were the things I was concerned about going into these matches was, am I going to be overwhelmed into this? And against the Iron Hands, I felt the Hidden Archeo Vault was the negative. In this, I do feel the Hidden Archeo Vault was the negative again. I don't see another secondary I'd take. So I think that the takeaway from this, for me at least, is, do I keep pushing the Hidden Archeo Vault, or do I drop the Breachers and go and do some sterilizers or something like that that could play the engage on all front game? Or do I just chalk this up as this is going to be a tough mission with that and try and figure out a way to deploy the army and play? Because realistically, I was able to do the damage. I just wasn't able to finish in some of those areas. I wasn't able to finish the bikes. Wasn't able to finish the shield captain, Trajan. Like everything else came to and the next turn, and the next turn. Yeah. So I got to look back and see if that was an issue and a problem there. What are your thoughts with it, with the AdMech list?
Yeah, engage. I think you definitely need to put units in there that can be dedicated to scoring that.
The Sterilize are very good at that.
Right, right. And that obviously you have to take something out to make that happen. But no, the damage output and the tankiness of the list is good, but I just don't know the
one would have been
secondary
that one
well
that one secondary, like Hidden Eradication of Flesh is I'm very strong into that.
Yeah.
Hidden Archaeovault, maybe not as strong. Maybe I need to look into the engage on all fronts. I'll sit back, breathe with it a bit. Looking at it a little bit, I want to look over the video, see what happened with this. All in all, though, man, it was a great game. It was a great game.
Yeah.
Gave back to me after the Blood Angels. And like I said, didn't feel completely overwhelmed. I'd have to say, though, man, those Dune Crawlers, for 100 points, man, they were mean. Dune Crawler shot down the shield captain, shot down the last bike, picking on wardens, and charged and killed a shield captain.
Yep.
The bane of the Custodes.
Who knew?
Dune Crawlers. But all right, well, that's about it from all of us over here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Brian, thanks again, man.
Yep.
Great game. Great game. Look forward to beating you up again soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So again, if you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. And turn on that bell for notifications and stay tuned for more battle reports. Thank you.